Greetings and salutations, everyone. Wow, 20,000 subscribers. I never thought that would be possible. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. And for my thanks to you guys, I am going to give you guys a bonus upload today. Before we get into that, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch store to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook version. They were written by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. They're available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. The links to those are in the description as well. Now, everyone, I've taken enough of your time. Let's get on with today's bonus celebration upload. Shall we? Really quick, before we get into some encounters, the funny part about the whole 20,000 is I was sitting in my studio and I checked the analytics and I was at 19,999. And I went in to my daughter and I said, wow, bud, I'm going to be at 20,000 soon. Who would have ever imagined, right? And she looks up at me. She's on her phone doing something. And she looks up and she said, should I subscribe to your channel, Daddy? And I looked at her and I said, you're not subscribed to my channel, bud? And she goes, no. So I said, if you don't mind, please. And she subscribed, and she was the 20,000th subscriber. It was really interesting. So I just thought I'd share that little bit of humor with you because I thought it was hilarious. All right, moving on. Today's first part of the upload. Native Americans have incredible, profound, and fascinating beliefs, many of them involving wolves. To several tribes, past and present, the wolf itself is known as a protective spirit or totem. They view the wolf as a wise fellow hunter to be respected and admired. Quite a few Native American tribes are familiar with an idea of man transforming from man to beast. The belief is known in many tribes, including the Mohawk, those territories once covered upstate New York to southern Quebec, where those who can shift were known as the Limichan, sometimes the Yanalusi, but it is the Navajo tribe that is best known for its shifter beliefs. These shifters are called skinwalkers. The Navajo word for such people is the Yinadalushi, which means he goes on all fours. According to Navajo tradition, skinwalkers will even look physically different from normal people. The main difference being their eyes, which are large and glowing, even in daylight. It is thought that if someone looks a skinwalker in their eyes, they can absorb that person and steal their skin. So it goes without saying that someone should avoid looking at anyone suspected of being a skinwalker. They also believed to have no genitals, and their skin was supposedly rock hard, making it impervious to axes and arrows. In some versions of the tradition, the skinwalker's tongue would be black, proof that their soul is poison. It's also believed that becoming a skinwalker was caused by dark forces. A person that becomes one was believed to have done something immoral to attract the darkness. Also, a skinwalker didn't just take one form, they took many, such as owls, crows, coyotes, but one of the most common was the wolf. While in animal form they lost all trace of humanity, the beast and animal instincts took over, making them vicious and unpredictable. This was only one version, though. Another is that while in animal form they were actually much more intelligent. They were also able to read minds and could lure people out of their homes into the woods by imitating the voices and cries of loved ones. Then there's the Hopi Indian tradition of shape-shifting. is brought on by a special ceremony known as Yaya. The details on this ceremony are extremely secret and well protected, but it is thought to involve wearing the skin of an animal one wishes to become. Among Native Americans, the wolf had dual symbolic values of both good and evil. Hunting tribes were those that often revered the wolf as a great hunter and warrior. Wolf medicine is that of devotion, victory, inventiveness, safety, and fertility. Some Native American stories connect wolf spirit to humankind as an ancient ancestor or creator god. Pueblo tribes include the wolf as a guardian of the East, while among the Zunis, carrying a wolf image is a way of manifesting a well-being and protection. Cherokee have a group called the Wolf Clan, or the Aniwaya, as one of the 7 clans. This is no surprise since the Cherokee have a matrilineal society, while the wolf is symbolic of the family and the connection, nurturing and protecting of the pack and children. We can see that the wolf is more complex than a role this creature is often cast into as an apex predator, without consideration to the wolf's gentle, loving, and protective nature. The Aniwaya, or Wolf Clan, has historically been the largest of the 7 Cherokee clans. From this clan, the Cherokee would look to provide the war chiefs when needed. Thus, this clan is associated with the important responsibility of protecting the people when necessary. Lore surrounding the wolf as a shapeshifter is not exclusive to Native people, but in the Cheyenne tribe there is a fascinating story of the power of the wolf's relative in the animal kingdom, the dog, known for their fighting spirit. The Cheyenne people tell of the Dog Soldiers, a society founded by a man who announced that he would start his own subgroup. None of his peers seemed to take him seriously and went about their business. Still, he meditated and prayed, asking for guidance to form his group. No one made a move to join him, yet it is said that he prayed and howled at the moon. All of the dogs in the camp heeded his call and rushed to join him. Thus, the Dog Soldiers were born. It is said that the dogs transformed into humans. Later, members of Dog Soldiers were given special status as guardians of the tribe. It is said they were particularly suspicious of colonialists and did not believe it wise to trust the white settlers. They attempted to protect the traditions and freedom of the Cheyenne people and resisted being forced onto reservations. The lore and history of the Dog Soldiers reflect the power of the dog's primal ancestor, the wolf. Though they can be loving, nurturing, and emotionally intelligent, the wolf is also protective and will trust their instinct before they trust others. Thus, a devotion to the pack, the family, the tribe, the clan, and so forth, is prevalent in the wolf's energy. In almost every tribe, the wolf is a prominent figure. Wolf lore relates to hunting, protection, loyalty, strength, and success. Wolves are considered to be close relatives of humans, especially in the northwestern tribes. Wolves were seen as medicine beings, so they were given the special status and recognition as powerful and important beings in the native lore and culture. The Quileute believed that wolf transformed into the first humans, a reiteration of the worldwide belief in the wolf as a shapeshifter and the connection between wolf and human. The connection between the wolf and the creation myths are also prevalent in native lore. To the Shoshone people, the wolf is a creator or a deity. Wolf clans are also prevalent, and not only among the Cherokee. The Lenpape and the Shawnee honor the wolf through an important ceremonial wolf dance. While the belief in a person's ability to draw on the power and energy of an animal ally is not exclusive to wolf, many native tribes include wolf among the most important of all animals. with whom they commune and connect in ceremonial and rituals. Wearing a wolf's pelt is one way that native groups forge an alliance and connection with wolf medicine. Poet Jim Barnes pays homage to a wolf in his poem, Four Things Choctaw. The Inuit people hunted and trapped the wolf, and it is said that the leader of the Kiowa people were known of as the lone wolf. So, really quick, could the Quileute Indians be right that this connection was that the wolf transformed into the first humans? A reiteration of the worldwide belief in the wolf as a shapeshifter and the connection between wolf and human. Maybe, just another theory, maybe the evolution process was, I don't know. Who really knows? We don't know. I know that I believe a lot more native lore than I believe cultural European lore. Just because it's been around just as longer. It's kind of interesting that, there's been some comparisons to certain Native American lore to the Bible that make almost coincide perfectly. And that's pretty strange in my eyes, considering the natives were, here long before Christ was, even thought of before, it's crazy. So who knows? Maybe the Dogman is just that long lost relative. Maybe he's pissed off because he can't crash in our house and sleep over and eat popcorn with us. I'm just kidding, but it's just interesting. Maybe that the native lore is just so fascinating. I, growing up, learned a lot about my Mohawk side. The Akwesasne Reservation is beautiful. They have, and that it means land of the partridge drumming, or drumming partridge. They have a beautiful museum near, and it's such an interesting place. Creepy sometimes, though. Creepy at night. Wow. And like I've shared before, the sweat lodge story that I had. But it's just Native American lore is beautiful and it's true. And I think that people really need to, especially people that are interested in cryptozoology, people really need to look more into native lore, especially with the confusion of like the Wendigo, which is a an Algonquin monster lore, and it does not have deer antlers. In all actuality, that's a Norse mythology. And they're not in Virginia, and they're not spotted here, just like skinwalkers aren't spotted outside of Navajo land, It's been the European culture and Reddit and all that BS that has just kind of just dissected Native American culture and lore and made it their own, especially Hollywood and these B movies that they make. But yeah, it's just really interesting, and I think that a lot of people that are fascinated with cryptozoology should honestly really dive into looking at Native American lore. I have a beautiful thesis from an Ojibwe student, and it talks about Bear Walker, it talks about the laws, it talks about this. Actually, I was talking to I don't know, a colleague or friend or whatever person that I know. And there's a Cree word which is taken from the word Wendigo, and it's Wetaka. And it's actually a legal term, and it's used in the Cree language. It's not a monster, it's an actual legal term used in their laws. It's pretty interesting too. But yeah, and I'm just rambling now, but let's get into some encounters quick before I just spew senseless babble. So, moving on. Today's first encounter. Last Halloween, I didn't have many friends, only two at that time that wanted to celebrate together. One eventually bailed, leaving me and my friend Rob to hang out alone. It was freezing. I had to bike to our usually rendezvous place, which was right in the center of the two houses. This place was a gas station adjacent to a very large field that was occasionally used for soccer games. Once we both arrived at the gas station, we went inside, got water, sunflower seeds, and left. Due to the pandemic, we decided not to risk exposure by trick-or-treating. So we went to go walk in the field. It was around 9:30 at night and in pitch black outside. We don't live near any major cities, so our only light was from the moon and stars. The sky was clear that night, so around 5 minutes in, we became entranced by them, walking forward with our heads craned back, looking up. This went on for a minute or two before we thought we heard shuffling near us. We turned to the right to see a dark figure lit, very dimly, by an extraterrestrial light. I'm a rather small person, and Rob isn't too much bigger, so the littlest things normally will put us on edge, but this was different. It looked bipedal, though. It seemed to be bent over with a near hunchback. It had some protrusions from its head, either horns or ears. It was too difficult to tell. I immediately let out this short scream and ran to the side towards Rob. I knew he occasionally carried a hunting knife, as he is more of an outback type person. The thing then bent down to walk on all fours and started yelping strangely, like a small dog almost. My friend grabbed the back of my jacket and yanked me back and yelled at me to run. He then pulled out his hunting knife. The creature was pacing while still making the strange noises. It looked like it was about to get closer before Rob threw the knife at the thing and got up and ran. He yelled, "Oh shit," and started running. As we ran, I heard a voice repeatedly echo Rob, saying, "Oh shit." We ran all the way back to the gas station, to where we had parked our bikes. Wordlessly, we decided it was best to just go inside the brightly lit station and wait out the nerves there. We haven't been able to hang out since due to the virus, but I doubt we will go walking in that field at night again. Today's second encounter. Let me preface by saying I am not a superstitious person or believe in much of the paranormal. Last night may have changed these convictions, and I've taken the whole day to process it. I was driving home at about 10 p.m. in Santa Monica Mountains outside of LA. It was dark, no cars were on the road, and I'm basically in the middle of nowhere. As I'm driving, I see a car in front of me take an evasive action and swerve. He recovered and kept driving. I then see what he swerved to avoid. A white barn owl, I think, casually just sitting on the side of the road. I turned around to get a better look, and by this time, he was up on the fence. I got a very good look at him and wanted to get a closer look. By the time I got out of the car, it was gone. I continued my drive home, but the next 60 seconds or so, I felt a terrible, uneasy, and anxious feeling. I continued driving, and had this strange, malicious feeling that I could not explain. Out of nowhere, not a minute later, after seeing the white owl, I see this pure white dog-like animal running straight for my car in the middle of the road, as it didn't even notice my car. Mind you, I'm probably traveling 45 miles an hour. I swerve to avoid the animal as it stops in its tracks and my Jeep goes up on two wheels. Those cars are pretty top-heavy. I'm able to recover and ride alongside the vehicle and come to a screeching halt. I turned and saw the animal was now on the sidewalk, and after collecting myself, I pulled up and tried to follow it. When I got close to it, I immediately recognized it was a coyote. They're fairly common in this area, but I've never seen an albinoed coyote before. It's, without a doubt, had the whitest fur I had ever seen. I tried to follow it down the dark road to get a picture, but immediately was overwhelmed with an uneasy feeling that this creature wanted to harm me. I turned around and drove home slowly, thinking about what I saw. Never have I seen an animal bolt straight towards a speeding car from the middle of the road like that. I never came that close to flipping my vehicle either. Today's third encounter. The story's from my mom. Her friend and her friend's daughter also experienced this. I was asleep at the time. My family has a caravan, a trailer for those who are in the United States, that we go and stay in for the holidays. It's up in the Victorian high country here in Australia. It's pretty remote with some small towns and farms. One night at about 3 in the morning, my mom had gone out to the communal bathroom block. Her friend and her friend's daughter were also awake. While my mom was in the bathroom, she heard what she described as the most horrible, inhuman growl scream echoing through the valley. It was nothing that she'd ever heard before. Not any of the common animal sounds heard there either. Possum, deer calls, bulls from nearby farm. She said she was terrified. My mom's friend and the daughter had heard it as well, and they thought my mom was going to be murdered or something. Even our dog was barking. My mom came back safely, and they all spoke about what they heard. I somehow slept through it. I was 11 at the time. I've always been so curious. I want to know what it sounds like and what the hell it was. My mom to this day says I shouldn't want to know. Whenever I'm there, awake at night, and it's quiet, I listen. Today's final encounter of the celebration upload. Driving home from a friend's apartment in a snowstorm, I woke up super early and had the itch to leave, being that I didn't want to get snowed in. It was 4 in the morning, and I'm downtown Indianapolis. Nobody's out except for the plows. I didn't even see homeless people. I live on the eastern side of the city. For those not familiar, it's urban, but not metropolitan. I'm driving very slow, of course, and very, very sober, I might add. So as I come to a crossing, I see this wolf/coyote creature prance, almost bounce, along this thin alley nestled between a coffee shop and a gas station. Here's where it gets weird. Within seconds, I'm obviously passing the alley, driving slow, and looking for the animal. I do live on the outskirts of the city, and I do encounter some rather cool animals from time to time. So I'm going about 10 miles an hour to see if I could see its tracks. I peer into the alley to literally see a man. Mind you, no human is out right now. It's cold and snowing. Sure, homelessness is huge, but I know what I saw. And all within a couple of seconds, I saw a larger dog, wolf, coyote type creature prance into this alley, only to drive by and see a very large figure of what appeared to be a man. The weirdest part is its arms were rather unusually long. I can't make this up. He was almost stomping along down this tiny alley away from me. No animal in sight, and the figure clearly wasn't concerned about the wolf-dog-coyote creature that would have been prancing right behind him. Literally appeared to have long arms that almost looked like they were too droopy for his body. Some of the most trippy stuff I've ever seen. I know what I saw, and I know it's not normal. All a silhouette. It's all very strange. Alright guys, there's our celebration upload. Thank you for sticking with me through these couple of years that I've had the channel. I started it in March of 2017. It's been really fun, really educational, and it has been, wow, super gratifying, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I've grown a lot. I've overcome a lot physically, health-wise. I've got my daughter throughout this. And this channel just keeps me going. I wake up thinking about my channel. I go to bed thinking about my channel, which means I get up and go to bed thinking about you guys. And so thank you. You guys really make this channel go. It's you guys that do, not me. I'm just here. So with that, I'm going to bid you guys farewell, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very, very much. See ya!